In this video, I'm going to show you how I made the Nerf shotgun of your dreams. Okay, so this is going to be a start of a build vlog for a double barrel Panther shotgun. I got two Panther tanks. One's been modified from years past, and one's still stock, so I got to do the mods to that. But this one's ready to go, so I've been doing some testing with it. This is the barrel break in question. It has had a deploy added onto it, and eventually this is going to get trimmed. I just have to figure out where this blast button's going to go. Around, and it gives me some room out back to put the pressure gauge. Now, the difference between this one and NOM's is obviously the deploy. But the second is this is going to use the original barrels. So they pivot down like this. This is going to be filled in, so this will be stopped right about here. So it's just perfect for loading. I've trimmed these down, and I've glued in, let me show you here. I've glued the track with some DevCon because I was lazy and didn't want to take it apart. So I just glued the track with it still together. Just roughly glued it and then put it into place. And now with it cut, when it is fully extended, it slings out the barrel, but it doesn't go too far down so that you can still load it easily. But then whenever you put it back in, it meets, it meets with the front of the Panther tank. I've removed all the mechanisms and everything in here, all the lifters, all the locks, everything. So this is just going to be done by hand. The brass is going to be what's keeping it stiff, and if I need to, I will add an O-ring between this post here and the shell to keep it stiff. But yeah, that's basically the idea. But as you can see, when I take the fitting with the spacer, and it just slides right in there. It's gonna be a nice fit. It's gonna be a nice airtight fit. It's a very tight pressure fit, and both surfaces are sealed. All right, so we have updates on the double barrel break. The barrels are fitted into the front barrels of the barrel break. They are 8 inches of 17/32 brass nestled into some Nerf barrel material, and then with some E-tape wrapped around in specific spots just to make sure it's held in there. And as you can see, the ends are blank, and that's so. These stubs in the Panther tanks, and I know they're different lengths, that's because this is different lengths, don't judge me, I'm lazy. But these are glued in, and I made sure no epoxy got into the valve. So that's good. Trigger a little bit just to get started on the work of that. I have a plan in my head for the trigger. We'll see if it works. I think it's going to, but we'll see. All right, guys, so I have an update. Obviously a lot has happened. I'm going to do my best to try and explain what I've done. And the first thing you can see is, ignore these. I was talking to Kalani and I was distracted. But you'll notice all these screws. All these screws are holding in polycarbonate reinforcements to hold in the Panther tanks and to keep them from going forward, down, and then in the back there's putty to keep it from going back, and then this one also helps to keep it from going back too. And if I kind of demonstrate here, so we have the barrel break. All you do, pull it forward, pull it down, you get access to your brass barrels, and they're just glued in. And then in the back on the tanks we have 9/16 flared out, and you can see the polycarbonate in there that was used to secure them in. Drilled out with 9/16 in the center to hold these barrels in place, and then they're tapped and drilled with 10/24 bits on the side here in the top for the front one, in the sides for the middle, and in the bottom for this back plate. I'll put up a picture here if I have it. I'll take a picture eventually, so I'll edit it in. But yeah, this is basically just all the polycarb that works to hold everything in. And once you are ready, once you're done with your reload, you just flip it. And then I've noticed you have to hit it a little bit to the right, and then it just slides right in. And as you can see, we're fully seated. And I'll do it again just so you can see it. It's a little stiff, I still need to sand the breeches. But as you can see, they open, they flip, and then when they go back down, they close. And we are also going to add a momentary switch right in the trigger well here, about right there maybe. If I can squeeze that, probably about right up there. Maybe a little more forward here, just depends on the angle I gotta get it in this little area here. And that's going to act as my electronic switch for the pump. And then the battery is going to go in the grip. And I have a night finder here that we are going to try and integrate the bottom battery door onto the barrel brake. I do plan on extending this handle because obviously it just looks a little small on this shotgun with the big butt end. So to fix that, I have more barrel brakes. But yeah, so the next things we're gonna work on, the last component that we need to add to this build is a pressure gauge so we don't blow the tanks. I have this micro pressure gauge. It's the same one I put in the Power Strike, but this one's 60 PSI instead of 100, because I learned you don't need a 100 PSI pressure gauge, you can just get a 60. All right, so some more progress on the barrel brake. It's in pieces. Oh no! So I did have it completely functioning almost with this setup and with the stock blast buttons. I had it with the stock blast buttons at first and it was leaking air out of the blast buttons. So then I cut out the blast buttons and replaced them with these 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch fittings. And tried that, and it was too much pressure for the MJV03 or too much vacuum. And I had a faulty MJV03. So while I'm waiting for the MJV03 to come in the mail, I am fixing the too much pressure or too much back pressure problem. So what I've done is I've cut the Panther right at the back here, and I haven't drilled it out or anything. I've just made it flat, and as you can listen, the valve is still working in the tank, so everything's still working. So all I'm doing is take a 1/4 inch OD to 1/8 inch MIP fitting. You can get these at Lowe's. And I trimmed it down. So yeah, this just goes right in here. Nice push fit fitting. So I'm about to glue this one, and then I'm gonna do the same to this one. And I'll show you what it's like inside the blaster real quick, just to show you my thought process here. So as you can see, this is where the Panther tank is sitting. So if we would have had the stock barrel brake, it wouldn't have fit, obviously, without some shell cutting. But since we have this deploy here, the tube easily fits. But this is how it looks. Everything's lined up. You can see my weird thought process here. This is only how far the barrel goes in now. So if anything, it's gonna sit like right there at the farthest. But that still leaves a lot of slack in that tube, and I can also put a spring in there to help with so it doesn't bind. All right, so another update on the barrel brake. I got bored and started doing body work. I'm waiting for parts to come in for the Panther tanks. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for those parts to come in, I did some of the body work. I just kind of wanted to explain to y'all what I did here. I've cut up 3 different color barrel brakes for this blaster. A red, a green, and a yellow. And all together it gets you a nice handle profile, and it's so comfy. And last time you saw it, it had the deploy part sticking out here. I took some bits from the Sonic barrel brake and added them onto each side, and kept some of that detailing. And then this has the same slopes and everything, so this is all detailed and matching. I just wanted to show this before I did primer, because I'm about to go out and do some primer on this just to get a base coat and to get some pictures for the Discord and stuff. The next step is going to be adding this night finder handle into here, and that's going to give me the cap for my battery tray, something like that. All right, so I have an update on the Panther shotgun. Here is the updated internals. Still might be using that pressure gauge, not sure yet.
Have to decide how I wanted to disassemble this pump. This is a pump I got off Amazon. It's a VP. It pumps up really quick. Fills these tanks up pretty good, and has automatic stopping and everything. It's pretty nice. I might gut most of the features and just put it on a momentary switch, but I'm not sure yet. But this is how it's supposed to work. And all you do is click the button. And then shoot 2 darts. So this is just a Schrader core. A Schrader valve with the Schrader taken out because the Schrader was restricting airflow. So I took that out. It still seals up here. We're good to go. That's connected up to a grinded down end of the Schrader core, so I can attach a hose clamp with a barb, and this tubing is heat shrunk to fit this. But yeah, that works. And then goes into the out or the in of the MJV03, right like that. And of course you got to thread tape these. And then you go from the out into a T, into both tanks, and you're good to go. And, yeah. So yeah, that thing is really loud, but it's very short, so it's not too annoying. And then it is so glorious.
All right, it's been a while since an update. A lot has happened. I will explain everything. Oh, this is the inside of the barrel brake. Here you can see how I've made the grip. This is a barrel brake up here. This is another barrel brake here. And then this is actually part of a night finder, which is my battery door. So I'll flip this over. It's still glue's kind of set, so you should be good. But that's what the handle looks like on the outside. This is where most of the body work has taken place. It's still not done yet, but it's getting there. Most of the body work is done up here. Got a few little rough spots to iron out with some spot putty and stuff, but it's looking pretty damn good. We're almost done with that. Just got to cut the pressure gauge hole in the back, and that should be pretty much all the body work I got to do. These are the grip scales. So obviously I have grip scales on here that I've been working on and making them look nice, but I want more detail than a flat black grip scale. So I got this textured polystyrene. It's for like building sides of boxcars and stuff and model trail railroading. And cut it out, cut them both out evenly on the same pitch and everything, so they look the same. And sanded them together so they have the exact same shape. They might be a hair off, but you're not gonna be able to notice. Got these little screw details in the same place on each side. And I'm actually printing some little circles, if you can see that, with my dusty 4mm tall high bongo. But the reason I'm printing the circles is because I don't want you to be able to see the checkered underneath the logo. So I want to carve it and then have some base underneath. So yeah, that's the plan with the grip scales, and that's the plan with all the body work. Everything's going good. It's looking pretty smooth. That's kind of how I cut the grips, if you want to know. And if we take a gander to the other table, the computer table, we can see I have all the internals laid out and some wires and all this stuff and a diagram and some plans. Working with somebody in the Discord. Okay, so but yeah, so I have the diagram here. We already did the wiring, so that's all set. We're just figuring out the coding for this. So this is an ESP32. It's a microprocessor and a microcomputer pretty much. Has a lot of pins, and you can do a lot of cool stuff with these, like drones and all this cool stuff. But what we're doing is taking an ESC and connecting it to a momentary switch with a potentiometer to control the voltage of the microcompressor, which, if you didn't know, these are the internals of the compressor I used to get that first firing demo. I don't know if I'm going to show that in the video or not in this order, but this is the internals of the compressor I bought on Amazon. So obviously it's tiny, runs on a micro brushless forerunner, has a really nice micro compression chamber and a nice tire valve stem that's sealed, so it connects straight into my line there. Pretty much all of these parts, except for this, but this probably is, I just got this at AutoZone, But every part in the internals is available on Amazon. The ESP32, the 20 amp ESC, the push button, the voltmeter, the potentiometer, and the clippered valve. I'm assuming you can get the push fit fittings and all that stuff on there as well, and all the testing leads and all the actual official leads. So everything in this project is available on Amazon, and I will have links to everything in the description, and I'm going to have either a Google Doc to the code for the brushless page, or I will post it somewhere and put a link to that post so that it is always available online. Anybody that watches this video can replicate this exact compressor system and replicate at least this air mod if they want to, but this will be able to take a micro brushless compressor, which are becoming more popular these days from Chinaland, take a microprocessor, ESC, and all that stuff from Amazon. Everything's available on Amazon. You can build a internal compressor Nerf blaster. So even like the brass and stuff you can get on Amazon if you do it right. So literally, we are trying, me and Brevity, who is the gentleman helping me out with the coding, we are trying to make an open source, pretty much brushless Nerf compressor HPA setup, or LPA setup, I guess, technically. But yeah, it's going to be freaking sick. That's a wiring diagram. If you want to screenshot that, this is not the final one. This is the preview, like testing one to see if the motor works. Did make noise, so the motor's working, board has power, I got the right cord, got all the parts. Brevity is getting me the code by the end of tonight, hopefully at the latest tomorrow morning / afternoon. So we should be able to test in the night tomorrow. My cat is wanting to go to bed, so I gotta wrap this up. But the only thing that's not accounted for in the wiring diagram that Brevity is getting me is the voltmeter and push button for that voltmeter. But all that should be is just one pin on the board for ground, and then the rest should be in the actual wiring. So obviously my cat wants to go to bed, so I'm going to stop explaining now, and we're going to cut to when it's working.
Okay, I have everything temporarily hooked up where I don't think I'm going to explode. I'm gonna hook in the LiPo. Okay, and then we're gonna hold the motor. I'll pump the. We want the potentiometer not max, but also not mid, right in the middle there. Okay, we're gonna try to pump it up to 45 psi and see what happens. Okay, so that's slightly over 45, and it is holding. No leaks, and let's see what happens. 2 darts in the chamber. Oh, that's gonna be nasty.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop myself before I get too carried away. Just ended up doing a bunch of stuff off camera. Pretty much from the last clip, it's been about a month. I've had to wait for the brushless code. So over there is a functional brushless code on that table. I'm just doing the motor fitment and test fitting. I have a mount here created. These points are the points I have to drill. Or no, that's the point I have to drill, and that's the point I have to drill to match up to that point right there and that point right there. Those are gonna be my mounting points. And this is going to sit in here. It'll be sitting just about here, and it just clears the barrel. And then all my wiring has room up stuff. This is just 8-inch by 10-inch, 0.93 inch polycarbonate from Lowe's. Obviously, I go to Lowe's a lot. But what I'm doing with that is I'm gluing it in. This is why I stopped myself, because I wanted to show this. Kind of clean polycarb work, not the cleanest, but I got to file this lip down. And then DevCon's going to fill the rest of this, because the reason I did polycarb instead of polystyrene is polycarb is a lot more impact resistant and vibration resistant. So it should be able to, especially, I know I have some O-rings that are small enough somewhere, and if not, I'll go get some. But just need some O-rings to do as a little spacer for the vibrations. I'm not going to put it between the motor and the mount, just putting it between this mount and the blaster.
This is going to sit somewhat like this, somewhere in there. Okay, it kind of fits, but I did do some math and the pump does fit. It's going to be very, very tight, especially with the valve stem. I might have to get a shortened valve stem, I'm not sure yet, just to go from here to the tubing, but it's going to do a loop, go into here, and then go into my PSI gauge and then the tanks. I know I have an MJV03 over there, but I actually also have an MJV3, which if you don't know what this is, it's instead of opening on the push, it opens on the release. So you leave it pushed in while you have this, and then when you release it, it expels the air. So we're gonna figure out how that works, if it works at all. It should, hopefully, and then we'll get everything routed.
All right, I am back with another update. Wanted to keep going, had a misfortunate realization. So I am using the MJV3. This is the MJV03. This is the normally, this one, when you push it, it releases the air. This one, when you release it, that's when it releases the air. It's the exact opposite, at least in theory. So I got this guy positioned right in here. I cut the center of the mount out, just got it filed and nice and everything. And this guy pops right through there. Should be just enough slack for a hose. And the other one pops just right there, and I'll do a little bit of a loop-de-loop throughout here if I need to, and we'll get it fitted in here for sure. If I need to, I can do a straight guy and do a bend, but the compressor's right here, so again, I just gotta, I'm playing around with fittings and stuff right now. I also got the back cut out for the PSI gauge. It's gonna sit right in there like that, and let me get a better view of that. Yep. And but yeah, this just goes right through here, and then I'm either gonna route it up here or down here. It just depends on how much room I have in here with the trigger and everything. Speaking of the trigger, this is the length I need. I have it here, but as you can see, there's no pin on the back. Because when I cut the handles, I didn't take the barrel brakes apart. So I just cut through the pins, get the last barrel brake I have. It's another red one. And I'm gonna keep the shell and everything intact, but I'm just gonna snag the trigger out of it, cut it just to this length, but then it will have this nub on the back. So, I've been working. It has been a full 14-hour day. I've done a lot of little stuff, and it is functioning. It's not, I don't have a firing demo yet. I wanted to show you the internals just to kind of go over what I did and let y'all know. Okay. So, first thing I started off with this morning was the trigger. So I got the compressor mounted, and then I did all that, and then I got the trigger, added this polycarb plate that bends and retains the trigger up top so it can't go out, and also locates it this way. And then we used the MJV3 valve. So it's not the MJV03, it's the MJV3, the one that's open, that releases on the pole. And this is a very stiff trigger. I might even see if I can find a tiny bit of a lighter trigger spring, but it does work very well. So we have a 90. So we have the compressor loop going into here and then making a loop back to here. Again, I might reduce that, but it's kind of odd with this tire stem because you have to have this in here unless you find an adapter. But yeah, so that's kind of runs through there, and then it runs up through here, and then it runs into one of the T's, and then the one T goes into here, other T goes into both tanks. So same setup as before, just a lot more compact. And then obviously I had to wire everything in, and it wasn't too complicated the wiring wise. The loom's actually not too complicated. Just squeezing it all in was the main thing. I ended up putting the ESP32 up at the top and snipping some of the connections that I wasn't using, just to make it fit above the Panther tanks, and that was just to keep the board away from the heat of the compressor. I can show you it working here, so we're gonna pump it up to like, now keep in mind, this isn't gonna pump as fast as it can. I can even turn it up just a little higher if we want to pump faster, which it actually was pretty low, so. But this should make it pump a little faster, but I do have to reduce the tubing size, so that's another reason it's taking longer. But yeah, let's see. Focus, please. just pumping it up to 30. And again, this trigger is very stiff, but you can see we're not leaking air. And we have a successful Panther Shotgun V2 brushless compressor that should all fit in the shell.
And yeah, that's full pressure every time, just saying.
This is 1 dart per barrel. This is 2 per barrel. 3 darts per barrel. And this is 4. I'm going to be shooting a little longer distance to show you the spread. Alright, so this is going to be an outdoor firing test of the Panther shotgun. What we do, put 2 darts in there, close her up, pump her up, then you let them fly. Yeah, that goes a lot farther than I thought. So that was 2. We're going to do it one more time. So that's max, and then shoulder height. Yeah, that's pretty good. Load them up like that. Close your breech. So that was 4. Now we're gonna do 6. Okay, and I gotta load the last 2 in the front because I didn't bring a ramrod, and it is humid out here. It just thunderstormed and it's about to again. That's trying to get this done. And then let's go to 45. Shoulder height. Now keep in mind 2 are in the front. And I did this off camera, but there's 4 in there. You can see it's pretty much almost full in the barrels. And now we're gonna get a shot spread. So here it is. Pump it up to 50, a little more just to see if it can take it. And yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool. All right, so I littered it up with some X-Shot darts, just so you can maybe see it a little better. So yeah, obviously it is done now. Not done, but it functions. So, you know, it pumps up, shoot it, reload, put it back, and you go again. Obviously, I am going to paint this. I'm gonna keep this pretty much the same, and just paint the body. Obviously, you can still tell I am doing some body work, and I have plans and an idea from Clowny up here to do the site. And that's another thing I want to go over real quick. The people I got to thank for this, because without a couple people, this project would not have even be anywhere as good or even possible. So Clowny, thanks to him for doing a lot of mod calls with me and keeping me motivated, and keeping me working those late nights where I could really get some progress done on this thing and really push my limits, and gave me a lot of good ideas, like the grip scale placement for the logo, gave me some ideas for the body and the internals even. Like, he just had a lot of really good ideas that translated into this thing, and half of the blaster wouldn't be as good without him. And you know, there's a couple other people, but the other main person I gotta thank is Brevity on the Nerf Masters Discord. He doesn't have a lot of social media or anything except for the Discord, so I'm just, if you need to get in contact with him for any questions on any coding related to anything, I can get you in contact. I don't want to like plug him directly and get him spammed. But really nice guy, helped me with the coding, pretty much did all the grunt work, and he wrote the entire code. And I had like a baseline code, but it was just something I found on Google, he took that and turned it into a functioning prototype. So yeah, huge thank you to him, and I tried to pay him, he wouldn't let me. So thank you very much, because this thing was not cheap. I don't know how much people think a modded barrel brake is, but it's definitely more expensive than your Harrier. So again, it's not completely done, but it's done enough where I'm willing to post this video and get the idea out there, and I can go, and if you really want, I can make a full tutorial on this blaster. It's honestly, you think it's complicated, but it's really not. Like the wiring diagrams between a Strife and a Rapid Strike, the bodywork's the hardest thing, and the pneumatics are dead easy. The only complicated thing, again, is the coating and the bodywork. But once you get those two hurdles done, obviously I'm not releasing files or anything for this because it's handmade. If you want one, I can build you one if I get the tanks. If you have tanks and want me to build you one, I don't mind. But again, be prepared to spend money. We have a working Panther shotgun in 2025 that has no pump. Fills up that quick. And has a crisp trigger pull. The only reason it's not getting painted right now is because PA humidity. Obviously with the heat wave going on in the Americas right now. Obviously with that heat wave going on, I really can't put a good coat of paint on this, otherwise it would be ruined and just come out horribly. And my paint was close to $200 for this blaster, so we are not doing that. I would rather wait 2-3 months to do a follow-up video on this and actually have an excuse to post. I mean, I will show this up close, the body work. Again, it's not complete. There's still some spots I gotta work out, but for a barrel brake mixed with a deploy, it is pretty good. Obviously, again, some spots I gotta sand still and do stuff with, but it's pretty good, all things considered. And I'm sorry for the crappy lighting. Again, we're in a PA basement. And the only other thing I plan to do is add 2 screws on this side to match this. And other than that, like, most of the body work and everything is done. This has taken over my life for the last 3 months. Literally consumed me. Getting your whole... But yeah, guys. So if you like this kind of content, please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a great day. I even have like crazier projects. Like if I, hold on. Some of you may have saw this at Maryland Mayhem, but this is a little sneak peek into the next project. Obviously this one's very far along, but this is a Power Strike 48, actually 2 Power Strike 48s with an XBZ Silly Shell shotgun up front. And if you were lucky enough to be at Maryland Mayhem, you saw it. Hopefully. If you were cool, you saw it. So yeah. Definitely some wild projects going on in 2025. If you like this kind of content and still like seeing crazy mods like this that aren't 3D printed, handmade, with love and passion, please like, comment, and subscribe. When's the last time you saw something like this on a Nerf field? Come on. We're moving on to better things.